The meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News. And it has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Meigs Landing. Prior to our opening prayer, I would just like to include wishes and prayers for all that are celebrating Las Posadas, Christmas, and Kwanzaa in the next coming days. And
Okay. Our Heavenly Father, as we usher in the Christmas season, we pray that the blessings of the peace continues to unite our nation and grow throughout the world. Amen.
Amen. And we'll stand and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Vallis.
Here.
Bertino.
Here.
Horsey. Days.
Here.
Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Risley.
Here.
And Kern.
Here.
Madam Chair, let the record reflect, I think this is the first time we had a full
I was
quorum.
just going to say that. We've got everyone
It's a holiday season, in person.
In person. Every once in a while, we have somebody that still gets on the WebEx. But, before our last meeting of the year begins today, I want to take a moment to reflect on the work that this board and hardworking staff has collectively achieved this year. We certainly have had to embrace new technology and procedures to be able to continue to conduct business of the business of the people right away. I am very proud of the board for every and each of you do each for the residents of Atlantic County. I especially want to mention the years of service and hard work of our colleague, Pat Quigley, who is participating in her last board meeting prior to her retirement. Congratulations, Pat. May we continue our momentum as we embark on the new year for January 2022. Congratulations. We'll just keep on about it. No crying. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from November 9th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the November 9th, 2021 minutes as presented. Second. Motion been made in second. We have a roll call?
Vallis.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey. Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes from November 23rd, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the November 23rd, 2021 minutes as presented. Second. Motion made in second. We'll have a roll call.
Vallis.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Just before we start, anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium and state your name and the town that you reside. If you're attending virtually, just type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You will be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, again, please state your name and the town that you reside. Do we have Karen?
Yes.
We have Kara Jansen, our acting Land County Public Health Director, will provide a health update on COVID-19.
Yep, I'm good. Can I just stand here?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to provide you with a COVID-19 update. Can I take this off?
Yeah.
Okay,
That way
great.
people
Thank you.
can hear you.
Yeah, can hear me. I'm the Acting Division Director for Public Health. Kara Jansen. As we're navigating this urgent need for boosters, I thought it was a good time to give you an update on COVID. So according to guidance put out by the Centers for Disease Control on December 1st, the Delta variant is the prevailing variant, rapidly spreading infection right now across the U.S. The Omicron variant was recently detected in the U.S., and it is a variant of concern. It's being monitored by New Jersey Department of Health and Centers for Disease Control. But as of the most recent data from the Department of Health, which is week ending December the 4th, Delta is 97.9% of our sequence tests, and Omicron is 0.2% in the state. So we have a little time to catch up and see what's really going on with Omicron. There's not a lot of data right now in order to report what's going to be happening with that. But as viruses are constantly changing and mutating, we're expecting new variants to occur. The best defense against any variant is vaccination. And vaccines will reduce the risk of severe illness, hospitalization, and death because they will help to reduce the amount of virus in circulation. With less virus circulating, there is a decrease in transmission rates and the odds of becoming infected. Of course, current data right now is showing that vaccine protection does fade over time, and that's why boosters are so important to address this waning immunity in the community and the general population. So right now, everyone 18 years of age is eligible to receive a booster of their choice, and as of December the 9th, 16 and 17-year-olds were eligible to receive a Pfizer booster. Those who are moderate to severely immunocompromised are eligible to receive a third dose of the vaccine. So data was showing that for booster doses, the immune response was restarted, and that's going to help everyone fight this highly transmissible Delta variant. And as we move forward and see what's happening with Omicron, we're anticipating would offer the same level of protection. So we're always talking about vaccines, we're talking about masking, social distancing, but with a lot of the other illnesses right now, including flu, I thought it was just as important to talk about symptoms, because often symptoms can be mistaken for allergies or other illnesses. COVID is commonly spread through close contact. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure. And in the 2 days before you had your symptoms or before you received that positive PCR test, you were already spreading the virus. So just reminding everybody to really, watch your symptoms. If you're unsure, get tested. There's lots of places popping up. The State Department of Health has partnered with Vault Health to offer free COVID-19 saliva tests. You go onto the website, you register for a test kit to be sent to your home. When you receive it, you log on. A medical professional walks you through the sampling, so it is an observed medical test. And you get your results back after shipping it back within 24 to 48 hours. There's additional information on this and all local testing sites on the Atlantic County website for testing. So in Atlantic County, we're pushing boosters right now. We're having a campaign to make sure as many people as possible are boosted. We have obviously seen a huge increase in cases from schools, workplaces, long-term care facilities, all due to the Delta variant at this time. So if we look at the 7-day average for the first week of November, we had about 41 cases a day. For the first week of December, we were up to 83, and we just keep climbing higher and higher. The only upside to this is that even though we're seeing hospitalizations increase over the last 2 weeks, ICU and ventilator use is not increasing as exponentially. 2 weeks ago, we had 4 ICU and 4 ventilators, and this week was 5 ICU and 2 ventilators. So we're seeing some stability there, even though we're seeing hospitalizations and cases rise. Also keeping in mind, we are seeing that vaccines are reducing illness, hospitalization, and death, especially when we look at the beginning of this year when vaccines were not available to everyone. On average, the daily death rate was 24. The first week, for the month of November, on average it was 4 per day. We're seeing a decrease right now in the number of deaths. So we have had walk-in and pop-up clinics. In the months of October and November, we gave 535 booster shots, 174 first, second, and third doses to residents, and 63 booster doses to those who are homebound. We currently have a booster vaccination rate of 33% as of the 13th of December. But we continue to see every week a 1 to 4% increase. The state average for boosters is 37. On Boost NJ Day, I don't know if anyone saw that advertised, December the 15th, We did a clinic here, and we gave 100 booster doses in addition to first, second, and third doses, as well as flu shots. In the Atlantic County, there are 165,599 individuals who are fully vaccinated. And for those who are 18 and up, we have a 73% vaccination rate. The state average is 79. So you can see, though we are a little bit lower, we're still trending with the state numbers. The health department, we continue to offer COVID-19 walk-in clinics for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays in Northfield, and Tuesdays in Hamilton. Homebound residents are able to receive vaccination by appointment 2 days a week. Our public health nurses have provided vaccinations to residents at their place of work, at senior high-rises. We've been to local events and health fairs as well. We also are providing 3 employee booster shots for county employees. Atlantic Care is our partner for school-age children, K through 12. They provide the pediatric Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds and 12 to 17-year-olds. Atlantic Care is also our partner to increase vaccination amongst those who are at high risk, underserved populations, ensuring that there's equitable vaccine distribution, and to address vaccine hesitancy. That has been in place since the summer. Since September, the Department of Health has several pop-ups throughout the county, including Atlantic City, Hamilton Township, Mullica, Buena Vista, and Galloway. Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J vaccines were available at all the state pop-up clinics. And the plan for 2022 is to have a standing COVID-19 vaccination clinic in Atlantic City. All available vaccine locations, including chain pharmacies, state pop-ups, and Atlantic Care community events, are advertised on the public health website and the county website. Walk-in clinics are advertised for Northfield and Hamilton and the Crest of Atlantic City on the county website. We now have them on the City of Atlantic City's website, but we do provide support for communicable disease to them. We have a signboard on Shore Road, and we also mail out a public health community newsletter to every municipality, and that just went out with information. All questions about vaccines can go through our public health unit at 609-645-5933. If there's a request to look for vaccine sites outside of what the county has to offer, the New Jersey Vaccine Hotline is 855-568-0545, and the senior hotline for 65 and older is 856-249-7007. If anyone's looking for a ride to the vaccination site, you can use 211. Thank you for your support for public health's effort to booster and vaccinate all county residents.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks.
We really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you, your staff, and everyone. I mean, this pandemic is not over, and you and your staff are still working hard and diligently and giving all this, information out to the county. It's very, very important. So appreciate that. Does any of the commissioners have anything they want to ask or say?
Yes, Kara, a couple questions, Kara. Thank you for that great presentation. One question I've heard from several residents is how come tests aren't necessarily free anymore? So if you, like Atlantic Care just posted that they're giving, antigen or PCR tests, but there was a fee. If you go to, any of the pharmacies, you have to buy an actual test. Can you explain why,
Why they're moving in that direction?
Yes.
I think that there's just not a surplus of the free tests being offered by the state any longer,
Okay.
but there are, so the Vault is free. They're also offering, there's a couple of new pop-up sites, so I would say really to look at the test sites that are posted on the county website, because we do indicate if there's a fee or not. Originally, the understanding was that they would ask you if you had insurance, and if you did not, it would just be free.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you know of any of the, besides Atlantic Care, because I do know that we're charging right now, and the other ones, if you just pass it my way, and you can look into that as well.
Okay. And then just my other question is the homebound. How can residents sign people up for that, and do they have to be, like I know we were giving it through like Meals on Wheels. Do some of the seniors or disabled have to be registered in those programs to get a homebound?
No, they do not, and they can call the public health, community health number at the 645-5933
Okay.
to schedule, and that's being done 2 days a week. So I'm not sure if they're scheduling a week or two out, but yep, they can call.
Okay. Thank you, then.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Madam Chair, I have one question. So, I was here last week. I came got my booster last week. And my question was, how many on an average do you get? 'Cause I know that you can get your booster, you can get the vaccine, and you can get the flu shot.
Yes,
So it's almost like a one-stop shop. So
right.
what do you average on a day? It's only Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
It is only two, I'm sorry, I don't have that, so I will have to get that to you. Okay, I'm not sure. I know that since Boost NJ Day, the numbers have gone up significantly. We were averaging prior to that, I would say 30 to 40. And that would be for all. That would be boosters, first, second, third dose, and flu. That wasn't as highly trafficked as you would have thought. But as soon as Boost NJ Day was coming on board and we got the 100 on Wednesday, it did increase on Thursday, but I can get that to you and break it down by type. Yep. Yes.
Again, Karen, thank you, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I guess, sort of an inconsequential question, but if someone were to call the 645-5933 number, will they speak to a live person?
Well, the number, yeah, they should, yes. The phone does bounce. If it's not picked up by the unit, it bounces through other units.
And then my follow-up was, and if not, what can we do to help you? Because that just seems to be a frustration still, dealing with whether it's unemployment or, especially with the state, but there's just a frustration, and now
Right.
there's a concern and a fear. I just want to ensure that you can speak to a live person if they call that number.
I have not heard that phone.
No, and I haven't either. I want to clarify
okay.
that. I'm just saying
sorry.
overall, that's just what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. So.
Right.
But if you do need, again,
Yeah.
stock the volunteers.
Right.
Just,
That's a great
we'll try to
idea.
work that out. I want to make sure that you can speak to a live person to have
Absolutely.
their questions and concerns answered. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
In regard to Commissioner Forster's question, you're not recommending that a person receive both shots the same day, are you?
Flu and COVID? Yeah, it is permitted. You can get both in the same
Heard a lot
day.
of
They do separate
doctors-
arms.
A lot of doctors have been recommending against that because there might be a reaction to one, and how can you tell what the reaction is to?
Right. We would follow CDC and state guidance. I can understand a physician may want to modify that, but we are, required in a way to offer it as you can get them both on the same day, or you can choose to come back. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Anybody else? Thank you very
All right,
much.
thanks.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, we have withdrawn resolution 678 for this evening because it's still in committee. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to move resolution number 731 to the top of the agenda. Motion made and second, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino, Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Before we read resolution 731, I know that's what most people are here for. I just want to make a note on this resolution. If you've read the resolution, it is to support Pleasantville on their efforts to evaluate a project and study the possibilities that they have for their community. I want it to be clear, this is not a hearing nor a commitment by this board for the project. There are many stages and approvals that Pleasantville has to go through at this time, as we all know. There's many, many levels to this.
Madam Chair. At this time, I'm going to have to recuse myself from the discussion of resolution 731. I'll return after.
Thank you. Commissioner Bertino.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
First of all, just let me say thank you for moving resolution 731 to the top of the agenda. I know that there's a number of people here whether you for or against this resolution. As our chairwoman has indicated, this resolution is no more than to support Pleasantville's position on a transfer station. It has nothing to do with nothing else at this particular time. However, I know that there's a lot of concerns. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I get that. But let me be very clear. This project started a number of years ago. And so we finally get to a resolution basically supporting, and we're glad to see the mayor here, and certainly in support of this resolution. And community leaders, whether you support or disagree with it, it's fine. The fact of the matter is, and you're right, you need to make sure the commitments are there. The jobs, residents, Pleasantville first, no questions asked. What type of revenues is actually going to bring to the city of Pleasantville, no questions asked. And listen, let's kill the myth. It's not a dump. ACUA has gone out of their way to scare the residents of Pleasantville, and yeah, they should have concern. They want to know exactly what's going on, rightfully so. But to continue to have the ACA going around putting out signs, telling people no dump in Pleasantville is far from the truth. Mr. Dobie said here 2 weeks ago and made a comment that one, the tipping fees were going up. 2, 5 to 7 years, there will be no room in the landfill. It tells me, one, he's afraid of competition. If you read today's article, it talks about they stand to lose $9 million a year if this goes through for the city of Pleasantville. Anybody, whether you live in Pleasantville, come through Pleasantville, you understand there's no real development, no nothing going on in Pleasantville. Any additional revenue that will help the taxpayers reduce their taxes, we should welcome it as long as it's right and fair. I support this resolution. I brought this resolution up because I thought it was the right thing to do on behalf of the supporting the administration, who I believe the vote was 5-2 when they passed it, somewhere in that area. And again, there's a lot of unanswered questions. I get it. I'll meet with anybody. If there's a question, call me. I don't run. I don't run for nothing. You got a question, come to me. I may not have the answer, I'll get you the answer. At the end of the day, I'm saying all this resolution simply does is to talk about supporting Pleasantville's position on supporting the transfer station in the city of Pleasantville. That's all it does. It does nothing else. We have no authority over DEP. We can't tell you if it's going to be awarded or not. This is just another one of those processes on that road. It's up to the developer now to get those approvals from the state of New Jersey. We don't have that call. But we support the Pleasantville's resolution in order for a transfer station. It's they'll talk about the trucks coming through the neighborhood. Hey, you got ACUA trucks coming through there now. You got all kinds of trucks coming through. 2 wrongs don't make a right, I get it. But at the end of the day, we talk about the taxes. And listen, I know Jim. I will hold Jim's foot to the fire no matter what, friend or foe. Anybody in the community want to meet with, I'm down. I don't have a problem with it. We'll get your answers for you. But at the end of the day, we got to move forward in terms of trying to get stuff done. There's nothing happening in the city of Pleasantville. Nothing. And it's unacceptable. Residents deserve better. But it has to be clear, at the end of the day, that Pleasantville residents get the first priority at the jobs, the training programs, tax revenues. That all goes to the city of Pleasantville. No questions asked. We can't play the game. I get it up, I sell it. There's got to be a clause in it. If that station sells, the city of Pleasantville cannot miss a beat. Whoever buys it, they've got to turn around and same commitment. That's my behind on that. Right? And so at the end of the day, we've got to, we can agree to disagree. I got no problem with that. But I think it's the right thing to do at the right time. Dobie says in the paper, and I'm done, he says in the paper, the week before Christmas at 4 o'clock, hell, he stood here 2 weeks ago. He never told the residents of Atlantic County that the tipping fees were going to go up. But he stood here and said it. He don't tell the public that they're running out of room 5 to 7 years, but he stood here and did it. But then he sit around and put out signs and have county employees and et cetera putting up signs all around the city of Pleasantville and thereabout, trying to scare them with a scare tactic. Where is he today? He stood here the other day, ran off at the mouth. I could barely understand what the hell he was talking about, but he was here. The fact of the matter is he's got to stop lying to the residents of Pleasantville. And listen, you can hold me accountable, the mayors, the members of the city council accountable, the developer accountable, but let's sit at the table. We can agree to disagree, and I say that because I think it's important that we understand nobody's going to get 100% of anything. So at the end of the day, where do we meet? Where does common ground meet? And I think that's fair. We doing nothing more simply than to say we support Pleasantville's stand on the resolution for the transfer station. There's a long road, as I said. A lot of stuff has got to happen. A lot of negotiations is going to happen. And I believe when they originally signed the contract with you, and you tell me if I'm wrong, we're not going to get into a dispute, that it was in the contract that residents of Pleasantville get first priority at the job, training program, and we're going to make sure that commitment is kept. But this board, all I'm asking my colleagues to do is support the resolution that the city of Pleasantville has put up for a transfer station. Nothing more. We're not talking about solid waste. We're not talking about none of that. And let me be clear about what this facility is supposed to do. This facility is strictly to handle construction debris. It's not your trash, it's construction debris. Whether you tear a house down, a roof down, that's what this is. It's on a rail car and it's out of here. That's what this is all about. But to mislead the residents of Pleasantville that said that this is a dump is far from the truth. And I have a problem because folks will tell us what's good for our community. They don't even live here. That's a damn problem. And so at the end of the day, again, I'll meet with anybody. Give me the opportunity to explain to you. I don't have all the answers. I get them for you. That's all I'm asking. A fair opportunity. That's all I'm asking. No more, no less. And like I said, I consider Jim a friend of mine. He don't get no pass. You don't get a pass. And what's right, it's got to be right for the residents of the city of Pleasantville. Bottom line. And Madam Chair, that's all I have at this time.
We are now going to read Resolution 731.
A resolution in support of the development of a transfer station in the city of Pleasantville, sponsored Commissioner Ernest D. Corsi.
Motion.
Motion has been made and second. Any commissioner comments? Any comments?
I just want to piggyback on what Commissioner Corsi said. Again, this is construction debris in a facility that has historically been an industrial facility. It was the Press of Atlantic City's printing area. Rail lines are already there, and it just seems like it's a fit. Most of all, it's what Pleasantville says that they want to do. So we're here to listen to the city of Pleasantville and support them in their decision and see how it goes when it goes up the chain.
Thank you. Commissioner
Madam
Ballas.
Chair. Yeah, I mean, I'm here to listen to, what the residents and the people that came to speak their mind tonight. Again, I agree with Commissioner Corsi. This is a non-binding vote that we're taking tonight that basically just supports the city of Pleasantville in supporting the application of this transfer station. Again, we heard from ACUA, Mr. Dovey the other night, that at any given day, the FAA can come in and shut ACUA down completely, and there is no landfill. And once that landfill is gone, we're looking at triple or more cost of dump fees. So if anything that we can save from going into that landfill, I think is a bonus. But let's hear what all the facts are. Let all the agencies that the alphabet soup that needs to get involved in this thing vote on this thing and move forward.
All right, we have, as I said in the beginning, this is not a hearing or a commitment by the board for the project, but what we're committing ourselves to is something that Pleasantville wants to study and wants to see what is best for their community. We are here, we are for Pleasantville and what they want to do and, go forward. But it's not a commitment. There's so many more stages that have to go through here. They have DEP, they have state levels, it may even go to federal levels for approval. But all we're saying is we support you going forward and doing what you think is best for your city. And then it gets turned back to you when you get all of these studies done from everybody that needs. And then your community will, decide whether they're, moving forward or not. Correct? I'm looking at you, Judy. I'm sorry. Okay, so.
Yeah, again, I just, you've all said that. We're just here to support the city of Pleasantville. And I've tried to make that as in the time of serving on the board, that's been my goal, not have the county or the state force anything on any municipality that they don't want. And if the city of Pleasantville wants it, I think, my precedent has always been to listen to what the cities want, what the municipalities want. And, serving on town council in Galloway and the planning board, I know that all the studies that, and I've read the correspondence, the emails that I received, as they always do, the traffic studies that people ask about, that's going to be done. And it is done on the municipal level. It's required by the zoning and the planning boards. So, it's not our job as the Board of Commissioners to make sure that that's in place. That needs to be in place, and our rules need to be followed, and it will be done, because it has to be done legally. Again, like I said before, my goal has always been to support the municipalities. Something they don't want, I'll come out in opposition to it. I think that's best for the town, for the county as a whole, taxpayers of the county. And towns want it. I think it's my job, and I've said this before, to let them, go through the process and do what they think is best for them.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none, we are now open to the public. If anybody would like, Mr. Marino, you know what I'm going to say, so you can come forward. Please state your name and the town that you reside.
He just wanted to come back home.
Holiday party night.
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. Good afternoon, Commissioners and members of the public. My name is Alex Moreno, and I reside in Linwood. And let the record reflect, I'm a former member of this governing board. I attend today as a resident of Atlantic County and member of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, a committee whose function is to assist the county in the development and formulation of a solid waste management plan and provide advice and assistance to county officers and commissioners on matters concerning solid waste. At an earlier SWAC meeting this year, the topic of the transfer station emerged, but little was known beyond what appeared in the press of Atlantic City. County professionals that sit on SWAC informed us that the developer would need to go through a formal permitting process, and once completed, this would be presented to the committee. As someone who's interested in the policy of solid waste, I was looking forward to reading the application and hearing from the professionals. I'd assumed that come our December meeting, we would have received this information. However, our regularly scheduled meeting that was to be held last week was canceled for lack of agenda items. This morning, I read in the press that this governing body is considering a resolution in support of the development of a transfer station. However, your own professionals have yet to receive any details, nor any members of SWAC, those of you who have appointed and confirmed. To ensure I did not miss anything, I called the county's Department of Regional Planning and Development this afternoon to ask if, in fact, an application has been received. I was told that all they have is an incomplete application. As you know, supporting a resolution, even non-binding such as this, raises concern. As a governing body, your responsibility is to gather facts, ask questions, and vote in the best interest of the general public. Thus, my comments are not based on whether this is a good project or not. Rather, was the process followed? The process of a complete application has been vetted, reviewed, and presented through the legal solid waste plan amendment process, then to this board following the formal ordinance process, including a hearing, which was mentioned in your comments. A vote today without that process and without knowing the parameters, impact, and implications of the project could be considered neglecting your responsibility as an elected representative of this county. As for this resolution, possibly refine it to state that this governing body supports the city of Pleasantville's attempt to redevelop this property that creates jobs and brings revenue to the city and county. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the public who would like to come forward?
Good evening. Good afternoon, Atlantic County Chairwoman and Commissioners. Thank you for taking out the time for this resolution and support of this development of a MRF transfer station in the city of Pleasantville. The benefits to the city of Pleasantville.
I just have to say, I have to give your name and the town.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
James
okay.
Ian 20 Neptune Drive, Summers Point. I'm actually the developer. Sorry. All right, so good afternoon, Atlantic County Chairwoman and Commissioners. Thank you for taking the time out for this resolution in support of development of a transfer station in the city of Pleasantville. The benefits to Pleasantville are employment of local residents and approximately $400,000+ a year in host fees and property taxes for the building and property. The project has no cost to the city of Pleasantville or Atlantic County and its residents. The project is publicly funded. The C&D material will be handled inside the building and reloaded on rail cars and shipped to a fully approved Ohio DEP state-regulated C&D landfill using the U.S. DOT-operated rail system and not trucks on our highways. This resolution today is only one more step forward in the process for our final approvals to save Atlantic County businesses and residents millions of dollars in C&D transportation fees and disposal fees. Thank you for your consideration in this project. ACOR Transfer LLC is moving to the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else in the public that would like to speak? Mayor?
Hello, my name is Judy Ward. I'm the mayor in the city of Pleasantville, 18 North Church Street. I'd like to, Madam Chair, and I'm Commissioner Corsi, and I thank you for sponsoring this resolution. This resolution came with controversy, as you all know. But this is something that me, as a resident of Pleasantville for 40-plus years, would not approve if it were a dump. I do take issue to it being called a dump because there's no garbage anywhere. It's all C&D. It's just construction debris. And that's not the only thing. It's $400,000 a year that our city would be getting, revenue that we could use. And as Commissioner stated earlier, we don't have anything else going on in our city. You know, I'm preaching to the choir right now because I'm way ahead of myself. But we don't have anything else going on in our city to lower the taxes and our rate. So this is something that we're getting at, that we're attempting to do. And not all money is good money. If it's nothing that's safe for our city, the DEP will definitely let us know that. And that's the bottom line, is that whatever the Department of Environmental Protection says is what we're going to go by. But these are steps that we're taking. I do support it. This was on long before I was, had started long before I was mayor, but I do continue to support it. And again, I thank you for this resolution.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Fred Akers. I live in Newtonville, Buena Vista Township, and I'm here speaking as a longtime county resident and taxpayer. And I'm opposed to the Resolution 731, and I have two reasons for that I want to inform you about. First of all, one of the things that Atlantic County is really good at, and it's really progressive, is promoting shared services. And try to find ways that the county can increase efficiencies, the towns can reduce their costs to having shared services. But in the case of this resolution, this is an unshared service that you're promoting. And that is to remove revenue and jobs from your utility authority and transfer them to private interests. Now, when you do shared services, you spend an awful lot of time running through the cost-benefit analysis and getting the facts about how that shared services will actually be a benefit to the county. In this case, you're undoing shared services and you're not having the same level of accountability in terms of cost-benefit analysis. So, as a taxpayer for Atlantic County, how much is this really going to benefit the county? How is that going to be accounted for? I really would like to know, and I'm not just going to take, well, it's going to be a benefit or it's going to be millions of dollars. I want to see an independent evaluation. Now, the second point I'd like to make is approving this resolution and then having the transfer station built in Pleasantville is going to bring more pollution to Pleasantville. It's pretty clear that air pollution from diesel trucks is a big deal. And it's such a big deal that a year ago, the governor and the legislature passed an environmental justice law that identified overburdened communities that have had to deal with excessive air pollution and industrial problems in the towns. And they identified Pleasantville and Egg Harbor Township, the census tracts all around this proposed landfill, as underserved communities that are overburdened, and they have high minorities and low income. So this is going to add more pollution. And I provided you a letter with some of the details of the governor's, the new laws that are coming. So there's a couple big concerns that I have, and I just want to make sure you're aware.
Chair, can I ask a question? The gentleman?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sir, you know, your letter was very detailed, your maps are very detailed. Do you have any association with ACUA or the county of Danville?
I do. I
Like
do.
what?
Well, you have appointed me to serve on the board for over 10 years as a volunteer. I don't make a dime by being on the board. As a matter of fact, I have to pay my costs to travel. But I am on the board, so I know a few things about the utility.
Okay, so your opinion is more biased because you're a board member, you're associated with ACUA, so you feel as though ACUA is going to have a negative impact on this. So this is why we got this letter? Is that what I understand?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I think as a taxpayer, that not having shared services, doing the unshared services is a bad move. It's gonna hurt the taxpayers. It's gonna hurt me. So you can try to discredit my statement because I volunteer for the ACUA board. But I think it's a fact that if you have a new transfer station, that's going to take revenue away from the ACUA, and it's going to take jobs away from the ACUA. Now, if that's what you want to do, fine. I want to know how that's going to benefit me as a taxpayer.
Yeah, well, I think what we're trying to figure out is, from what we heard from Mr. Doby the other day, was when this landfill closes, that the tipping fees are going to triple or quadruple, which is going to have a negative impact on everybody here in Atlantic County. So any construction debris which would help extend the life of that, where actually real garbage can be put into the landfill, that would help, wouldn't it?
Well, I disagree with you.
Okay.
And I wish that you commissioners would look at the plan. There was a plan, and it was a regional plan, and it was done with the state of New Jersey. It's an actual document that's out there. And it talks about how the solid waste plan for Atlantic County was going to accommodate the point in time when the ACUA can no longer take trash and materials because it's full. And the regional plan at that point said you would look to the surrounding counties. And at the time of the plan, you were supposed to do a cost-benefit analysis. It was a request by the DEP in that plan. I'm happy to provide you that. It's a county document. And so the idea would be there was supposed to be a cost-benefit analysis to determine what the cost would be to transfer trash from Atlantic County to Cape May County. Now, would that cost more or less than taking it to Pleasantville and sending it to Ohio? Do you know that? Do you know which is going to cost more if we transfer it to Cape May?
Well, I think if it goes from Pleasantville to Ohio, that's a private business. And I'm not a big fan of municipalities, the state, or the county competing with private business. So I think what you had said about diesel fumes in communities in Pleasantville and Edgeworth Township, which is where ACUA is and where this proposed facility would be, if we're sending tractor trailers, which I believe still run on diesel, to go to Cape May or Cumberland or any place else in the state to take trash once the landfill is closed out of there, that's going to create more diesel fumes than a train would cause, wouldn't it?
Do the accounting. The ACUA has transitioned, almost all their vehicles are compressed natural gas, not diesel.
Well, I don't know that ACUA would be transporting that. I was told that it would be put into tractor trailers and sent in a tractor trailer to wherever out of the county.
Let's get back to the cost. I'm a taxpayer.
Me too.
Which is going to cost more? Sending the trash to Cape May when the landfill's full, or sending it by train to Ohio? What's going to be the higher cost? And providing profit to private interests. So what's going to cost more for me? That alternative, which is already the plan, there's already a rule you're not supposed to transport it out of state in that plan. And it's just disappointing to me that you as a commission aren't aware of the past, what happened in the past, and what the plans were. Now, if you want to change the plans from the past, the way to do that is to bring the plans up and say, look, in the past, this is what was determined. But you know what? We want to change the plans for these reasons now. And if you think it's going to be cheaper to send the trash, the C&D waste from Pleasantville to Ohio, and that's something that the state will agree with, and you think that's better, then I'll be for it as a taxpayer, because it will mean my taxes won't go up.
Exactly.
But I would like to know
Don't
the
you believe that this study should move forward? That way we get these facts. That way it goes in front of the county board and doesn't get put on because of lack of agenda items.
Well, what I'm
That
hearing
this
is,
thing should move forward, that financial impact study should be done. It never got done, as you just said.
yeah,
Them things should be done so that everybody has all that information. That way you can make an educated decision on whether this transfer station should be a go or whether it should be stopped.
I agree with you, but the county should do the cost-benefit analysis, not Pleasantville and not the developer.
Do you agree it's got to get done?
Yeah.
It's got to get done.
And-
So that's
and
why we're
it would
supporting
be
them to
good-
move
it would
this
be
forward
nice
so
if
we
it
can
was-
figure this out.
This resolution isn't a resolution to do that.
Okay, we're not gonna sit here and
Okay.
debate back and forth because.
You answered the
Again,
questions, thank you.
Yeah, you did.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just have two things for the record. Mr. Akers, you called it a landfill. It's not a landfill, it's a transfer station. There will be no garbage put in Pleasantville. And secondly, Mr. Dovey told us how drastically understaffed the ACUA is. They are prioritizing picking up trash, then recycling, and then leaves and composting materials because they can't find the staff. So losing jobs, I don't think is an issue. Just want to say that for the record.
Well, the problem is with CDL drivers. And that's a big problem.
The
not
problem
only-
is that the county can't pay the market value, and the developer won't be successful if he can't pay drivers. If he can't pay drivers, he won't be in business.
Right, so if he's going to pay the drivers more, do my taxes go up?
No, you're not paying his drivers.
Okay. All right, we're not gonna, thank you, Commissioner, for your statements. I appreciate that. And again, we are not making the decision or changing anything. This is something that Pleasantville wants to do, and we're supporting Pleasantville to get a study done. So,
Good evening. My name is Tony Davenport, I'm a councilman in the First Ward, where this project is supposed to be put in. I hear everybody talking about dollars and cents and money and things like that. I grew up in that area. I moved there when I was 4 years old. I've been there for 57 years. And I've watched the impact of AE stones, how it took away the vegetation and all the fruit and trees that were in that area. And now you're talking about bringing another entity that's going to pollute the area. You're talking about money, but no one has talked about the environmental impact that it's going to have on the people of that area. And I just want to make sure that you guys understand that it's about more than money. It's about the people of Pleasantville. And I grew up there. I still live 1 block from where I grew up at. And I just want to make sure that you guys look at the whole picture. This is not all about dollars and cents. We're watching kids grow up. We're watching older people that live in that area that really don't want this. You're talking about bringing in trash, whatever it is, recycling material. And I've done carpentry work. And I know that anytime you have a dumpster and you put carpentry or wood and things of that nature in there, someone's putting trash in there. There's always going to be that. So don't sit here and make it seem like it's just going to be construction material. It's going to be all kind of things dumped in those dumpsters. So just look at that part of it. Don't make this just about dollars and cents, because I look at it differently. I live in that neighborhood. And right now you're talking about the tonnage of material that you're bringing in. You know how many trucks it's going to take in order to bring that material in there. And I think it's being lowballed. So before we do this, we need to do an environmental study and making sure that it's not an impact on the people who live in that community. So thank you
Sir,
very
and
much.
I am going to repeat this, I'll repeat it a few times. We do not make the decision. We are supporting Pleasantville and looking at the study, and what you're saying to do is what we want done. We want the DEP to look at it to make sure that it's not going to affect anybody's quality of life. So we're supporting Pleasantville and getting involved in the study, but we do not make the decision.
Okay, well, that's
Okay,
all I'm asking, is
yeah.
that make sure that it's a study done so that everybody is well informed on what's going to happen to the future of the kids that are going to be growing up in that neighborhood.
Right.
Because like I said, I grew up there and I can remember going out and picking strawberries and things of that nature. You don't see that anymore because of Acre Stones, because of other places around here. And now you're going to bring another entity in here that's going to do the same thing, and it's just, it's unfair. You know, I feel it's unfair. It's unfair to the community. Unless they have a say in it and they say so. If the community doesn't say so, then I think you guys need to rethink.
It's again. It's
I
not
understand,
us.
I apologize. I really do.
It will come back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
At you and your citizens, you know, once these studies are done, and then you can evaluate if
Yes.
it's something that you want. That's exactly where, you know, we're coming from. Get the studies done. Find out, make sure quality of life is not interrupted, make sure it's right for the town. And that's what I think that you and, you know, the mayor, and I think that's what everyone's trying to do. Get the
Yes.
study done and make sure that,
That's-
you know,
that's what I'm
everything
doing.
falls in place, yeah.
Mr. Davenport, you're saying what we're saying.
Gotcha.
You're saying what we're saying.
Yeah.
We need to get this moving forward.
Right,
Thanks,
right.
To make a decision, yes or
You
no.
are.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I agree with you. You are saying what we're saying. I think that what Madam Chair is saying is that it's not our responsibility. Like, it's not going to come to us. Even if it goes to the DEP, all the approvals get done, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to y'all, to local hands, and you guys are going to have to make sure that the studies were done, and make sure that you're taking care of your citizens, and making sure that this is something that Pleasantville wants. It's not up to us.
So this resolution tonight, what is the basis of it? What is it for?
What this is, the resolution, and I don't want to speak for everybody up here, Madam Chair, if I may, the resolution is just to support Pleasantville continuing this project moving forward so that the studies can get done, so that we can continue, so we can get the studies done with the DEP, and then it can get, you know, they can do what they have to do at the state level, and as the Madam Chair said, it can go to the federal level, and then once all that's done, it's going to come right back to Pleasantville. You know what I mean? So all we're saying is that we're in favor of, by this resolution, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're in favor of moving the process forward to get all those things done that you say need to be done before this project is forward.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Hold on, James, if I can. I don't want to belabor this, but, you know, there are two sections of this resolution that clearly state, you know, as part of the city's redevelopment plan, includes construction of the transfer station. And the following section talks about the adoption of city resolution. So again, this is City Resolution 127 of 2021. I mean, this is clearly the support of Pleasantville. You know, being from Galloway Township, where we don't have municipal trash collection, I mean, I'm extra sensitive to this issue. You know, there's a big debate, you know, several months ago in Galloway Township, when Mr. W was here, I questioned him about the ACUA's ability to provide that service, and he said, I don't think we can, and Galloway asked us to give them an estimate, and I don't think we're very capable of expanding to other towns right now. He also said that the transfer of the trash to Cape May down the road is going to be extremely costly. As of this minute, and 3 years down the road. I mean, if this prompts them to do their studies, to have their plan in place, I mean, I think that's great for all the taxpayers as well. And again, all this is allowing Pleasantville to pursue this. And if the rest of the taxpayers, their eyes are, enlightened by what the cost of the ACUA's plan moving forward, ACUA maybe needs to rethink something forward as well, quite honestly. But as of 2 weeks ago, that was their plan. And here we are, and Pleasantville has a plan they would like to see move forward, and that's all we're doing. And like I said, there are several sections of this that clearly state supporting Pleasantville in their redevelopment plans. And that's all I'm looking at right now.
Does anybody else from the public?
Good evening, Commissioners. All right.
You just need to state your name.
My name is David Calloway from Pleasantville. I'm totally against this resolution. The only reason why, it may be a good project, but this has never come to the residents of Pleasantville. It came after the fact, after it was voted on. Then the people found out what was going on. And if there's an environmental development in any town, the residents should know beforehand, not afterwards. And that's what happened with this project. Try to have a town hall meeting about this stuff. They wouldn't allow us to have a town hall meeting. They turned the town hall meeting into a council meeting, so that the council people could control the meeting. And where we had the meeting, it was packed in the door with all Pleasantville residents, for the most part. Not one resident said they were for this project. Not one. Only ones that are for this are the elected officials. But the residents that have to pay their taxes there and have been citizens there in Pleasantville for years, they don't want it. And we was talking about the taxes and how much it was going, how much revenue it would bring to Pleasantville. And when it was asked about the $400-something thousand, they said, well, what would that cost? What would that savings be? They was like, I think it was maybe $40 for 100,000. If your property was assessed at 100,000. People were saying, I'd rather pay more than have my taxes go down that little. I'd rather pay more because we don't want it. And there was a statement by Mr. Corsi who says that the excuse me, slowly dropping this mask. Mr. Corsi says that the taxpayers, excuse me. First, let me get back to you. Mr. Parker, with this environmental thing, on the borderline is your district, correct?
Absolutely.
Was there ever any public, did the public ever, were they ever informed in Egg Harbor Township about this project?
I spoke with all the residents that in that surrounding area in Egg Harbor Township. I met with them personally myself, and some of the residents that I didn't, one of the residents that we have here actually came to our township committee meeting. I was on township committee at the time and spoke about how he felt. Another resident went away in today. I spoke to him just to make sure. I know that his project backs up to his house, so I called him up just to make sure to see where he was at. You know, I know where he was at during that town hall meeting in Pleasantville, or as you put it, city council meeting that you guys had in Pleasantville. I knew where he was at then. I spoke to him throughout the process, and so I spoke to him again today before coming in here just to see where he was at. So I know that I also spoke to the township committee. I spoke to the mayor as well to see if Egg Harbor Township, to make sure I know what Egg Harbor Township feels, because listen, if one of the things that I'm going to represent whatever the town wants, whatever the people want. You know, and I think you know that. Whatever the people in Pleasantville want, whatever the people in Egg Harbor Township want, this is an Andrew Parker's project. You know, I'm not up here to tell anybody what to do or what not to do. You know, my job, I believe, as elected officials, is to listen to the will of the people. I've said that from the beginning. So,
Exactly.
So I'm here listening, gaining all this information, and I'm listening to both sides of the story, get as much information as I can, so that we can decide what the people want to do. So that's where I'm at with this. So there are some people in Egg Harbor Township that are for the project. There are some people in the Egg Harbor Township that are against the project. You know, and the more people, and I know the same thing in Pleasantville, the more people I talk to, I'm getting 50-50. I'm getting half people love it, half people hate it. It's hard to really tell. But what I want to emphasize is we don't get to make the decision. We don't have the authority. There's more authority locally in your city councils and your mayors and your township committees, which I just served on. When I was a township committee in Egg Harbor Township, member of Egg Harbor Township, I was a little bit more involved in terms of representing that voice that you're talking about. Then, because of my role, I was local. So I had the residents that were coming in and calling me up and saying this is how they feel, and they wanted me to represent their voice. Not my voice, but their voice. You know what I mean? Their voice. And so that's what I was preparing to do. Now that I'm on the commissioner's board, I have a completely different responsibility and role. I don't have the same role that I had in Egg Harbor Township. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm trying to...
The reason why I was asking you
direct you in that way
is because during that so-called town hall meeting, we also had residents from Egg Harbor Township who spoke. And it was no one who was in favor of this project. That's why I was asking.
And they weren't in the beginning, but What I think needs to happen is there's so much misinformation about the project, and I think that's what you're talking about.
And that's why I was
The
getting
people need an
at what
opportunity
Mr.
to
Corsi
hear,
was saying that
to hear what the project's
Mr.
going to be.
Dovey and the ACUA was having a scare tactic. Well, you can't scare people if you inform them of what was going on. So if they were informed of what was going on, Mr. Dovey could throw out anything he wants because they would have been informed. Pleasantville residents was never informed of what this project was about, ever, until after it was done.
To answer that, Egg Harbor Township residents felt the same at that moment in time. And so what I tried to do, and so there's some residents here that can probably attest to that, what I tried to do, and I know you know, I tried to get people in front of both sides of the information so that they're not making a one-sided judgment call. Now, I'm only one man.
I was just asking you that part.
Right, I'm only one man.
This is to the entire commissioner board here, is why can't we set up a town hall meeting and you guys be there and you hear from the residents? Because right now, you're listening to the mayor and people are totally against what she wants at that project area. People are totally against it.
And what we have said before, this is to get the study. The studies haven't been done. DEP hasn't been done. The state level, the state level, the federal level, it may even go to federal. Those haven't been done. So until they're done, that's what we're asking for. We're supporting them in getting that information. When that's done, going back to the public, and then the hearings. This is not a hearing, this isn't a commitment, this is asking for those studies to be done and then brought back to the people. We don't make the decision.
We should never be in a position of having a study to even bring this project to Pleasantville. I mean, this is already voted on to get done, as far as Pleasantville, and the residents didn't have a say-so in it. This reminds me of a project that happened years ago in Atlantic City, when they forced that tunnel project over in the west side area. And everyone was totally against it because of these same tactics that has taken place here in Pleasantville. And of course, you was one of the main ones that was against it. And now you're doing the same thing as an elected official. What you was against, what happened to you in Atlantic City? It's very hypocritical. And you guys should, like I said before, I'm asking you guys to please, we want to set up a town hall meeting with the developer and you guys so you can hear from the residents of Pleasantville, because none of you live in Pleasantville. None of them. So you don't know how the residents feel. Mr. Corsi knows because he was at that meeting and he knows residents was totally against it. So would you please consider, if we have a town hall meeting, would you guys attend to get the feeling of the community?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, but we think that these studies, we have to find out the details and the information. We have to make sure that it's even feasible. We don't know whether it's feasible.
We keep talking about these dumping fees, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Of course, it affects the whole county. But why dump it in Pleasantville? They tried it in Galway first. They didn't want it. They tried it in other towns. They didn't want it. It seems like we as residents of Pleasantville, we are the dumping ground of what other towns don't want. That's what happens. We ended up with the John Brooks Center.
I do apologize because then I should have made note of this ahead of time.
That's okay.
Because of how many people are
That's all right.
here.
But I'm going to hold you guys to that town hall meeting, and I expect to see every one of you there. And
every one of them will not be there because of the violation.
Yeah, we can't all.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay.
Thank you very much for being here. We greatly appreciate everybody's passion, and I should have made note that we are on a 3-minute because the amount of people here, and we have a very long agenda. So when you hear that little buzzer, Sonia will let you know. So I'm sorry, Sonia, I forgot to mention that. Anybody else would like to come to the podium and speak on this resolution? Do we have anybody? No? Yes.
I'll make it quick. Good evening, Commissioner Kern, Commissioners.
I'll make it brief. I know you guys have heard all of this. So as far as I'm understanding, and maybe other people could add to that, the language says in support of the development of the transfer station. It doesn't say support researching the transfer station. It doesn't say further considering it. It just says supporting it. So if the idea is that we need to do more research, then I believe the resolution should be amended to reflect that accurately. Not just saying that you support it, because that's not, the resolution says one thing, but what you're saying is a different thing.
Mr. Corsi, would you like to add
I
something?
refer to the attorney.
All right. Mr. Adrian?
I apologize that I'm not
We
with
can hear
you.
you now.
The resolution, if you read the bottom, goes to the commissioner supporting the city's actions. So could you split hairs on what that means? Sure, because that's what lawyers do. But I think what you all are saying, you support the city's actions to go forward with studies and the things that you've just discussed. That's what I interpret it to mean. I'm not the sponsor, but that was the spirit in which it was written. And I will leave it at that. The sponsor or anybody else to come in further, and I can answer more questions if needed.
So
I think that was definitely the spirit of it.
It was, so we would need some wording if we're gonna move forward to. Anybody have, do you have a recommendation how we can word that within, if you have the sponsor would like us to do that?
I have no objection.
My thought would be, you had a previous comment from former Ben Freeholder Marina. You could put in there, and I'm not the author, I'm making a suggestion, support the city's attempts to develop it, if that creates more comfort with everybody involved on this. In other words, it's not a done deal if the city's going through this process. I think it clarifies that. That would be my suggestion to the chair and for the board to consider.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't give your name and,
Sure. Marion Sargent, what else do you need?
where you reside.
LAFC.
Okay, thank you very much.
So Commissioner Corsi and Madam Chair, where it says on the last paragraph, the second line of that paragraph, you would delete the city's actions and insert the city's attempts. Just so I don't know if I was clear on what I was suggesting to you all. That's what I would do, and obviously I'll be guided by the temperature of the board and whatever you want to do, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing, I think, you know. As noted, as he noted, do we have any other, we good with that? Okay, so that, it makes it a little bit more clear as to what we're doing this evening, so I hope everybody, you know, understands what we're doing right now. Yeah, Madam Clerk, can we have it read again with,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear where he was inserting
Let
that.
Rick read it.
Yeah, would you like me to just read the?
Yes,
that would be great, Rick, thank you.
The resolution would stand as it reads, except for the now therefore paragraph, which is the bottom paragraph, and I'm just gonna read that for you all for the record. Now therefore be it resolved that the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners supports the city's attempts to develop and construct a transfer station that will create revenue and jobs, benefiting the city and the county as a whole. That's how the resolution would read if it's accepted.
No objection? I don't do that. Say it again.
Add that to the title as well, though? Or was that, I mean, again, I said it was just like.
Commissioner Day was suggesting that it be read, added to the, like.
The Commissioner Dace asked, we could just change it to Atlantic County Board of Commissioners resolution in support of the city's attempts to develop a transfer station in the city of Pleasantville. Would that be acceptable and hit the mark?
Okay.
No objection.
Okay, so we're good with how he read it just then, or you want him to reread it? Is everyone okay?
It's fine.
Okay. So I now need a motion to amend.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, now we have to vote on resolution.
This public portion closure?
Does anybody else from the public have anything to say? Okay, public portion is closed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make one remark. It's been a while now. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who took the time out to come and speak. That's important, and I certainly respect everyone and what they said. We're taking that into consideration. As county commissioners, it's important for us to withhold judgment and to gather all the facts. That's what we're here for, to gather all the facts, to listen to everyone. However, on this particular resolution, if we were to vote no today, that would, I feel, prejudice the whole process. And we don't want to do that either. But it needs to go through the process, it needs to go to SWAC, it needs to go through the permitting process. That's what's crucial here. So with that, again, I want to thank everybody for their comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, does any other commissioners? Yeah, you just couldn't have that look on your face.
Yeah, well, what kind of, now that we've heard the public speak, I just feel as though that, we should probably comment because we have more knowledge now than what we had when it was our turn to make a comment. Again, I appreciate everyone for coming out, and I wish everyone a happy holiday and a happy and especially healthy New Year. Yeah, I think we need to support this because we need to get this process started. It's creating a lot of contention with the residents, with the county, with ACUA. It needs to move through the process through DEP, and I imagine DEP will have their public hearings and everything else where residents can have something to say, and the other committees that it has to go through. We're not voting whether this should be developed or whether it should not be developed. We're voting that we're supporting this process of moving forward and getting this thing done and getting it put to bed. It's either going to be a yes or it's going to be a no, whether it's going to be built or whether it's not going to be built. We have a dilemma here in Atlantic County where, we know, out of the words of the ACUA director, that, that the time that's left in that landfill is very short, and we cannot build another landfill here in Atlantic County. He also, said that, which is, very concerning to me as a commissioner, that at any given time, the FAA can come in and shut them down, and they cannot take another truck into that landfill. That's concerning. That doesn't mean that we do have 7 years. It means we may. It means we may have 5 years. It means we may have tomorrow. So, if there's something that's safe, that's acceptable to the residents of that area in Pleasantville and Egg Harbor Township border, and it's safe for the residents of this county, yeah, if it ends up costing us a little bit of money, or if it saves us money, we don't know until the study is done. But the study needs to get done, and I think that's why we need to support this resolution today. And I thank you for bringing this forward, Commissioner Corsi.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Sure, thank you. Just very quickly, again, we all thank everybody who came and spoke, and I think what we're voting on tonight is not a yes or a no. That's not our job. What we're voting on is information, and we should never say no to getting more information.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair. Again, let's thank the public, and David, certainly take your comments. It's not personal, I get it. We've been down this road before, I understand it loud and clear. The idea of a community meeting, we talked about that. We all know we can't have more than 4 people, 4 commissioners at a meeting. I get that part. As I stated in the beginning of the meeting, I'll meet with anybody. If I don't have the answer, I'll try to get them. I'm not running from nothing. The fact of the matter is that I think it's good for the city of Pleasantville. That's my personal opinion. At the end of the day, the voters of Pleasantville, the people of Pleasantville make that final decision, but it has to go through the process. It's nothing new. It's just, because we stated from the beginning, the councilman came in late, he didn't hear it, but we made it very clear, this is a long process. It doesn't stop with us. It's got to go through DEP, it's got to go through everybody. So I think this, in order, the old-fashioned folks used to tell us, in order to start the 1,000-mile journey, you got to take the first step. Yeah, it's going to be some bumps along the way. I get it, but at the end of the day, grown men and women can sit at the table and agree to disagree. The question is, how do we get to the next step? That's all it comes down to. And so, I certainly ask my colleagues to support this resolution. we're supporting Pleasantville staying on this resolution at this particular time. Again, we have no authority after that. But I will say this in closing. What disturbs me is that the county swap committee every month says there's no agenda, there's nothing on the agenda. They could have just one item to discuss on the agenda, and they failed to do it. Not one time has Dovey and anybody else wanted to discuss this issue. Whether it was one issue, 2 issues, or 100 issues. He chooses not to choose or to at least respond or answer the question so you can move to the next step. So I thought it was important that the commissioners, we move forward, at least try to move the process along. He has an obligation as well. And SWAP could met one item, because they keep saying lack of item. Well, this is a big item. And they could have met on this item. And they choose not to do it month after month after month. But he'll stand here and tell us all the wonderful things. Can't get enough employees, first of all. He's raising the tipping fees. And everybody's quiet. Hell, at some point it's either going to close down and where the hell did we go? So it's a good starting point to start the fighting, to get some concrete information and try to move forward. That's all I'm asking. I'm not, there's no backdoor deal. Let's put it all out in front. Let's fight all day long. Thank you so much.
Commissioner. Okay, and again, we do thank everyone for coming here, and I thank you because you're being part of the process. You have passion, and that's wonderful because you come out for a lot of your neighbors, etc. So thank you for coming here and giving us your thoughts. I'm sorry, Michelle.
If you don't mind, I'm Michelle Post with the Atlantic City Press. I was under the impression that the Solid Waste Advisory Committee would make a recommendation to you and that you do vote on this. Several commissioners now have said that you have no voice in this, but it was, if I'm wrong, please explain to me. Do you not have the responsibility of voting on this in a real manner, not you know, in a real manner, whether to support it or not, after SWAC gives you a recommendation, or am I wrong?
Okay, Rick, if you can go, what I believe happens, we can support the findings that they come back with. The project does not come back to us in a whole. That goes to, so is that the way this goes with SWAC?
So the SWAC matter will come up. I think the point is right now, right? That's what I thought I heard, is right now you're not saying that it's going to be approved. We can look into the SWAC process. Once they go through a process, that may very well be the case.
No, I'm asking for clarification about whether this board, after SWAC makes its recommendation, it's my understanding this board does vote on whether or not this board will allow it to go forward. And it's also my understanding the executive has the right to veto that. So I would really like clarification on that.
Michelle, this is Rick Andrew. You may very well be correct. That sounds familiar. Without looking at it directly, I don't want to mislead you one way or the other. Could I follow up with you with an affirmative one way or the other?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, we are now call roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino? Recused. Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Abstain.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. We're going to take a 5-minute break, so if anybody wants to stay for the rest of this very long agenda. Okay, well, while he's back, I'm going to ask for a motion to bring up resolution number 715. May I have a motion? Motion made second to bring up 715. All those in favor? Okay. We will bring up 715.
Agreement with Election Systems and Software for 6 voting machines for the April 2021 pilot election, amount not to exceed $74,505.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 682.
Amending Resolution Number 629 adopted December 15, 2020, grant acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the Personal Assistance Services Program, net increase $31,113.
Motion. Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 683, please.
Amending Resolution Number 554, adopted October 19, 2020, grant application acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the Sexual Assault Response Team Forensic Nurse Examiner Program, funded amount $90,238, county in-kind match $25,194.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
I'm going to have to abstain. I'm on the board for Van Zarn and receive funding from this grant.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolution number 684 to 688.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days? Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to professional services agreements, resolution 689, please.
Amending Resolution Number 21 adopted January 19, 2021, professional services agreement with various vendors for the 2021 engineering and inspection services pool for various dam and transportation infrastructure projects to extend the term date only for 2 additional consultants, no additional costs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 690.
Professional services agreement with various vendors for the 2022 engineering and inspection services pool for various dam and transportation infrastructure projects, amount not to exceed $5,490,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 691, please.
Professional services contracts with various counselors and nurses to provide substance abuse services for the 12-hour and 48-hour intoxicated driver resource center, amount not to exceed $38,385.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to note, this program is funded through the fines from drunk drivers. It's not about county tax dollars.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 692, please.
Professional services agreement with various attorneys to serve as municipal prosecutors and municipal public defenders in the Central Municipal Court of Atlantic County. Amount not to exceed $388,800.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comment from the commissioners? Mr. Ballas?
So that's just a little comment on everything. Yes, I'm still not aware of a commissioner being appointed to the personnel committee or to the other committee, the rules committee of the county municipal court. I know they met and made these suggestions, but I still would like to see someone from the board of commissioners on each one of the 2 committees.
So we'll add that.
I believe it was
Clerk
approved.
will add it to the reorg.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
May I ask a question?
Yes. Rick?
So you want to him or you want me?
I'm sorry.
I'm kind of good at that.
Oh, you got to Rick. I got a question. That's fine.
Yes.
J-
Mr. Avery?
just a quick note, I anticipate that'll be on the reorg list of agenda items with respect to members that Commissioner Fallis just discussed.
Thank you. Commissioner?
So, to go back to Commissioner Fallis' comment, I thought the committee met with Jerry. They agreed that we'd have a member on the committee, and I thought we were going to do it sooner rather than later. But y'all just really kind of answered the question, to do it at the reorg. But I mean...
Jim is the staff person to the merged court, so Jim can respond.
Yeah, this resolution is necessary because the court has to be up and running by the first week of January. When we were here, if you will recall, I had a detailed resolution. There were some concerns expressed. An amendment to that was made, and in fact, the agreement was amended that establishes this court. But in order to have this up and running, I will tell you that we went through an RFP process. This went out twice. Because the first time, we only got less than a handful of responses back, and the people who responded wanted $500 per session. $500 per session would have broken the bank on this thing, and we went out again, and we've got a number of people who came in on this. The committee, the personnel committee, which has representatives from the 5 of the towns, vetted this. We went through it. These are the recommendations that they sent over to the executive and to me, and now they're in front of you. It's a good group of people. These are highly qualified people, and in fact, today, we had a meeting earlier today with Judge McGuire, Tim McGuire, who's going to be the chief judge, meeting with the prosecutors and the 2 public defenders and a member of my staff who is going to assist in helping them get the discovery that's needed to go out to like the defense attorneys and things like that. So the process moves forward. We welcome somebody from...
Okay, and we don't have any problem, with the resolution we're talking about. What we're talking about is when there is a meeting or some type, how are we going to know to make sure that whoever's going to be on this, or even this time we could have sent somebody?
We will reach out to Sonia,
okay,
and we'll let her know. And actually, we'll get input from you as to dates when your representative would be available, so that we don't leave anybody out. You just got to understand that sometimes it's difficult to get even 5 and 6 people together sometime for a meeting. Just as difficult. I mean, it just really is. It's been amazing that we've had the number of meetings we've had so far and not really had to postpone any meetings because people know that this is an urgent thing. They want to see it happen, and they press forward with it. And
so moving forward, we'll just make sure you know who the person is, and Sonia will know when there are any, even if they're pop-up meetings or something like that, so that representative knows. Okay.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, I'll yield first. I have time.
Just a quick question. Jim, when you were here, we did some amendments to that agreement, and you said it had to go off to the state of New Jersey for their review of the process, and they agreed to the changes that we made to that. I just want to make sure on the record that's all completed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, let me, if I may, go back to Mr. Ferguson. So, it is my understanding, as you're moving forward with this court come the first of the year, Mays Landing is not ready, so that means you have satellite courts throughout the county. The question for me is, when is Mays Landing going to be ready? It was a big rush to do it. I don't know if we had contract problem, I don't know what the issue was, so.
From what, and Jerry may have more precise information than I have, but I'm told now that they're hoping that the component part or parts, these are, I think, computerized things that they need for the big compressor or something that's put on the roof of this place, which then functions the HVAC system. That those parts, which were originally supposed to be here by the end of November, now they're talking about, from what I last heard, the 2nd or 3rd week of January. The contractor has indicated that once those parts are received, it's probably a 10-day turnaround for them to finish everything that they have to do and have the HVAC system up and functioning. So we're now probably, if we're lucky,
And again, assuming there's no further delays on this, we're probably looking at sometime in the first week of February to do this. The towns, when I'm saying the towns, EHT, Galloway, and Hamilton have been very gracious in allowing us to use their facilities for those satellite areas so that the court can get up and running then. But if we're fortunate, we should be in this building hopefully the first week of February.
So, again, Madam Chair, so Mr. Ferguson, so I guess, again, for me, all of these court appearances are going to be by video?
The ones at those 3 locations will all be virtual. To the extent that there has to be any in-person trials, Judge Mendez, the assignment judge, is making some court space available out at the Yanami Boulevard Courthouse where the Superior Court and the municipal judge or judges will go there to conduct those in-person hearings.
So, my final question, give me the 9 towns that signed on.
Egg Harbor Township, Estelle Manor, Galloway Township, Hamilton Township, Northfield, Linwood, Ventnor, Port Republic, and Weymouth Township. So those are the nine municipalities.
That was it.
I didn't look at a note.
So, Mr. Ferguson, are we paying these municipalities to use their facilities?
No, they're not charging that. What I've agreed to do is if they have like, they have to send postage out, things like that, and they incur postage, it was determined that it would just be easier that for the town to absorb that, and then they'll send us a bill, and the county court will, the central court will reimburse the towns.
So when will this is my last question, when will the sheriff's department actually, because that was the last conversation in the meeting, that you made an agreement or reached agreement with the sheriff's department to be the officers in the court. So how does that work and when do they kick in?
They'll kick in when we get into the new space, but until then.
Have y'all been able to sign that agreement with the sheriffs?
What's that?
Have y'all been able to sign that agreement with the sheriff?
Yeah, we're ready to go with it.
That wasn't the answer.
What's that?
The question was, have you signed it? Not that you're ready to go. The question is, have y'all signed yet? So I guess my question is, I don't want the sheriff's department to come back and say, we're not gonna do 500,000, 600, we're gonna do 900,000. Have you made that agreement in writing yet?
I sent him a letter confirming the terms of what the county was going to be paying and what his duties would be under that. And that was acceptable to him. So I'm satisfied that we're ready to go with him.
So there's still nothing in writing saying that they're going to be...
There's my letter to him, which encompasses the terms of what they agreed on.
Did he acknowledge it?
Yes, absolutely.
And we put the money in the budget.
I keep asking you.
No, we met with him and we put it in his budget. So that's what that means.
He accepted the money, so
He's accepted the dollars. Yeah.
So it's in writing.
I think we're ready to go.
You're out of last questions.
Madam Chair.
I reserved the balance of my time.
Me too.
Yes.
Jim, just one other question. The clerical staff, they're all on board, correct?
Yes.
And are they in the old criminal courthouse, or are they? Where are they going to be housed while the court's going on virtually in the different municipalities?
The court administrator for the new court has broken that down into 3 teams. Hamilton Township will host a couple of towns. Galloway Township will have Port Republic, Ventnor, and one other town. Egg Harbor Township will have their own cases and will take Linwood and Northfield. So it's broken down that way geographically. The one that has the longest trip over will be Ventnor, because they'll be coming over to Galloway. But they had to be put someplace, and that's where the staff elected to put them.
Okay, so the staff is going to be hosted by the different municipalities
yes.
until the space is readily available.
Yeah.
And then the staff and the records can then be moved to Main Street.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. Do we have anything else from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 693.
Renewal competitive contract with Atlantic Prevention Resources for the provision of a gun violence prevention program amount not to exceed $65,700.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 694.
Renewal competitive contract with Jewish Family Services for the provision of trauma-informed emotion regulation group treatment for Atlantic County youth. Amount not to exceed $64,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 695.
Renewal competitive contract with Jewish Family Services for the provision of home electronic detention systems case management amount not to exceed $141,000.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 696.
Renewal competitive contract with CFG Health Systems Limited Liability Corporation for the provision of medical, dental, and mental health services to inmates of the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $5,660,153.13. And Harborfield's Juvenile Detention Center, amount not to exceed $139,839.19.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas? Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 699.
Competitive contract with Caring Incorporated and Milton and Betty Katz Jewish Community Center to provide nutrition site management at various locations throughout Atlantic County. Amount not to exceed $530,813.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 698.
Competitive contract sub-grant agreements for Older Americans Act Area Plan Services fiscal year 2022 at 100% funding, amount not to exceed $317,600.
Motion. Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 699.
Competitive contract sub-grant agreements for Older Americans Act Area Plan Services fiscal year 2022 at 50% funding, amount not to exceed $476,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to bid contracts. Resolution 700.
Bid contract with Bird Dog Paving Limited Liability Corporation for pavement restoration at the Atlantic County Shoreview Building. Amount not to exceed $293,997.55.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. It brings us to change order. Resolution 701.
Change order number one and final, a contract with Arthur R. Henry Incorporated for the drainage rehabilitation program on various county roads to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 702.
Change order number one and final, a contract with South State Incorporated for the 2019 State Highway Improvement Program in Galloway Township, Egg Harbor Township, and Absecon. Net decrease $115,704.12.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public?
Yeah.
A decrease would be. You don't get that often.
Give a special cheer on the
Yes.
committee meeting.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 703.
Change order number one, a contract with Bird Dog Paving Limited Liability Corporation for the resurfacing of Egg Harbor at Greenbank Road, Section 10B in the Township of Malaca and Egg Harbor to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 704, please.
Change order number one, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for the 2020 Phase 1 County Highway Improvement Program to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas? Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 705.
Change order number one, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for the 2020 Phase 2 County Highway Improvement Program to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 706.
Change order number one, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for the resurfacing of Tilton Road, Section 5 in Egg Harbor Township to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 707.
Change order number one, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for the resurfacing of 3rd Street, Sections 1A and 1B in the town of Hamilton to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner
Jerry,
Martino.
One question, Jerry, I see we're on all these contracts for Arawak, we're doing the extension on the term date only.
Yeah.
Why are we extending it for a whole year?
They do, they usually do that. It really doesn't extend that long. It's probably just until they close out the contract, but they do it for a year, just to make sure,
You
right?
get, well, because I don't want contractors coming
Right.
back saying we accepted the bid, then we gave them an extra year to do the project. and
No.
Complaining I didn't get any penalty, I didn't get, because we're giving an extension on the term dates.
Right, that's it. And the work is almost
Why
done,
is it so
right?
long? That's my question. I think
That's
it's
what
too
they do.
long.
That's what they normally do.
Well, maybe we gotta look at that Bridges and Roads Committee next year.
Right.
And talk about some of these, because I've had contractors saying, we're playing around with, it's silly, to me, a whole year extension. I mean, maybe 6 months, 3, let's find out what
Right.
the reason is, but we'll discuss it in committee.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
I think they went, I think somebody asked the question, why? It's just to close out the contract, because it's done, that's the issue.
Some of these projects are done in this.
That's right.
I don't get the year
Okay.
extensions, that's all. I'm
Okay, well
curious
then,
about.
well,
We'll talk.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 708.
Change order number one and final, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for the resurfacing of West Coast Road in Egg Harbor Township, net increase $120,835.51.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, I mentioned it in subcommittee, but I just want to publicly state what an improvement that Westcote Road is. It's dramatically different. It's beautifully done, much needed in that area. It really actually kind of cleans up that back road area that it is. And I just want to compliment the work done there.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Valid.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 709.
Change order number 1 and final, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated, resurfacing of Pomona Road sections 5C and 5D in Galloway Township. Net increase $68,651.40.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 710.
Change order number 1 and final, a contract with AE Stone Incorporated for the resurfacing of English Creek Avenue, sections 1A and 1B in Egg Harbor Township to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 711.
Change order number 1 and final, a contract with AE Stone Incorporated for the resurfacing of Columbia Road, section 1B and 1C in the town of Hamilton to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 712.
Change order number 2 and final, a contract with AE Stone Incorporated for 2020 State Highway Improvement of Various Roads Program to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Under leases, we have Resolution 713.
Lease agreement with the City of Corbin City for the K-9 training facilities, amount not to exceed $60,000.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Ballas.
to Jerry. Jerry, can we just look into buying this building? I mean, $60,000 a year to rent this building?
Yeah.
The building can't be worth even that much.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, the only thing
It's a
with,
closed down building.
well, when you say closed down, it's fairly good shape. I mean, one
Yeah.
thing we don't have is air conditioning and heat in the building.
Correct.
And Mike is on. Mike will tell you. I mean, we have a grant writer from Triad. I don't know if Mike is still on, but they've been meeting with Mike and discussing with Mike, getting a grant to renovate the building. So
Right, us getting a grant to renovate it or Corbin City getting a grant to renovate it?
we're getting it, and then we would work out the details with them about the usage.
So we're
of
gonna
the
renovate
building.
somebody else's property?
That's correct. Yes.
Well, why wouldn't we look into buy, I mean,
We're
this,
facilitating a grant.
how many times have we rented this building for $60,000 a year?
I guess probably like 8 years. Yeah.
So, do you think we
Yeah.
paid more than what the building's worth? And we'll continue to do that year after year?
I don't think the building is. I think the building is worth a lot more than the 400, whatever it would be. 8 times 60 is $480,000.
Right.
We're going to put something in it, which means we're going to ask for something in return. I mean, I'm not going to sit here publicly and tell you what we're going to
No,
ask for.
that's
But when we get the money, there'll be an agreement on how that building gets used.
And I'm sorry, but I thought in our committee meeting,
Yeah.
Mr. Kavorka said the 60 grand is grant money. Do you remember that?
No.
I thought he said it was not county funds.
No, I didn't hear that.
Is he still on the line?
It's not.
I would doubt that.
He's not on. No, it's not grant funding. I can tell you that for sure. It's not grant funding, and I can tell you that we've talked many times about moving. The issue was is where to move it. So one time we were actually going to move into Egg Harbor Township. We had made an offer on a building, and we had made an offer on 11 acres of land in Egg Harbor Township. And when we went to settlement, the real estate agent asked for an additional, I think, $500,000. So we walked away. So we've stayed here. So it wasn't like we haven't looked. I mean, if you want to know all the gory details. So now we're looking at renovating the building, and then we would negotiate with them on we're putting in whatever the grant is, and the value of that grant, how we handle the lease with them. So that's where we are right now.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other Commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, we have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Cupertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Jays?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 714.
Agreement with the Youth Advocate Program for Community Engagement Activities amount not to exceed $14,820.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the Commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Jays?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 716, please.
Alternate method contract with Deborah Heart and Lung Center for 2021 inmate medical services at the Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $50,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the Commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Jays?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 717.
Contract with Maldonado Britt and Associates Limited Liability Corporation for the provision of psychological evaluation and treatment for adolescent sex offenders. Amount not to exceed $15,750.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the Commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Any, no. Roll call, please.
Ballas? Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Jays?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 718.
Renewal intergovernmental services agreement with Rutgers State University of New Jersey for the provision of dental services for Atlantic County residents at the J.H. Cronin Dental Center. Amount not to exceed $60,500.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the Commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Jays?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 719.
Memorandum of Agreement with Community Mediation Services Incorporated for services under the Older Americans Act, amount not to exceed $68,811.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the Commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Jays?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 720.
Agreement with the National Aviation Research and Technology Park for the assignment and maintenance of the next-gen traffic light at Access Road, commonly known as Aviation Research Boulevard. No cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the Commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 721.
Resolution advising and consenting to the nomination and reappointment of Bonnie Lindau as Atlantic County Treasurer and as Chief Financial Officer.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments from the Commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
is Bonnie with us?
Yeah, I think she is, yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I don't want to, I just asked a question. How long has she been with the county in this position?
Oh, I think, was it 6 or 9 years?
2012.
How many?
Connie.
How many years you been in the treasurer, Bonnie?
I started in 2012.
2012.
Don't scare her away.
Yeah.
Don't scare her away.
No, actually, I was gonna comment
years,
on how
right.
outstanding job she's been doing. I just wanted to know how long
Yeah.
she's been here. Her and her staff has been
9 years.
doing an outstanding job, and certainly, I'm sure we all agree she certainly deserves to be reappointed.
Yeah, very true.
No, that's all I
Thank
was
you,
gonna say,
Bonnie.
and Amy tell me don't run away.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Any
your
other comments
comments.
from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 722, please.
Alternate method contract with the Center for Family Services for the provision of client-specific services, amount not to exceed $1,000.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 722,
Resolution requesting a cancellation of unexpended balances in the 2021 budget pursuant to NJSA 48:4-60.
Second.
motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 724, please.
Amending resolution number 113, adopted February 16, 2021, intergovernmental services agreement with the Juvenile Justice Commission for operation of the juvenile detention program at Harbor Fields to extend term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. This time I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions numbers 725 to 729, which are appointments and reappointments.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 730.
Resolution setting the date, time, and place of the annual 2022 reorganization meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners on Tuesday, January 4, 2022.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the
Oh,
public?
speak now?
Oh.
You change any meetings, night meetings?
No.
This is not
reorg.
Just for reorg.
Okay.
January 4th to 4th.
Yes.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Madam Chair, I'd like to add a resolution to the agenda, if I may.
Absolutely.
Make a motion to add a resolution recognizing the retirement of Ms. Patricia Quigley.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Oh, where do you want to start? First of all, Pat, thank you so much. I can't speak for my colleagues, but I think they've echoed ever since I've gotten here. You've been more than a help. I can't get my phone up. I can't get on my website. I can't get to my page. 4 hours a day and night, you to make sure that I had the necessary information, etc. You've been more than plenty of folks who've called here to attempt to get help. May have said a few things behind the scenes, and professionally, you've always been able to, get folks to where they need to go in the county. It's a loss of this office, certainly to the Board of Commissioners. I think that'd be a fair statement from all of us. Even though Mr. Parker just got here, you don't know what he missed. But, your replacement should be well-groomed, well-knowledged, and there's tough shoes to follow. However, I'm sure they're up to the task. Wish you well in your retirement. I don't know how we were able to get you to do this last meeting. Something I think the Madam Clerk pulled a fast one on you, but be as it may. I heard you had a wonderful surprised last week that I was unable to make it, and we wish you well in retirement, and I'm sure you'll be back around there to help out when you need it. When you get bored at home, you can come volunteer sometime. Remember.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Bore you too much. Thank you, Commissioner. Madam Clerk, would you like to read the resolution?
Sure, and if we could just move the motion and second it.
Okay.
We added it to the agenda.
We moved and seconded to add it.
Okay.
Start
So
with
all
the
in
comments.
favor on that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we need all in favor on the addition.
All in favor?
Aye. And now I move 732.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion has been made in second, and can we read the resolution?
My pleasure. Atlantic County Board of Commissioners resolution recognizing the retirement of Patricia Quigley. Whereas Patricia Quigley, a resident of Galloway Township, launched her career with the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders on August 27, 2001, and whereas Patricia Quigley has served under 3 chairmen, 2 chairwomen, 31 commissioners and freeholders, and 2 clerks to the board, and whereas Patricia Quigley, a conscientious, loyal, and hardworking team member, has exemplified professionalism in performing her job throughout her 20 years of employment. And whereas it is with heavy hearts that Patricia Quigley will attend her last Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners meeting on December 21, 2021 as a county employee, and whereas the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners deems it appropriate to recognize Patricia Quigley for her services and to wish her well in the next chapter of her life. Now therefore be it resolved that the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners, that this board does hereby commend and thank Patricia Quigley for 20 years of dedicated service. Be it further resolved that this board extends their best wishes to Patricia Quigley on a well-deserved retirement.
Now I'm going to go back to commissioners. Do we have any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, I don't think I could add much more to what my colleague said. Just Pat, I know you're not going to miss doing all those early morning texts for us to remind us of meetings, but everything's appreciated and we love you and we're going to miss you.
Pat, I don't know that I can say enough, an appreciation for all that you've done for this board and for myself personally. I haven't had as much technology problems as Commissioner Corsi, but I've had some, and I know it's not easy to get a hold of me during the day when I'm at school, but I appreciate your persistence. And I missed some meetings. We were meeting in Mays Landing and Atlantic City and other places, and I started heading here, and you send me that text, and I turn around and say a couple things under my breath. Now I'm going to be even later than normal, and you're like a second mom almost, and I'm going to miss that back. I know you're not going to totally disappear. I'll be in Galloway knocking on your door, but I appreciate everything you've done and well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations, Pat. Thank you. Really, you make us, when we come in that's new to this, committee, you make it so easy. You just, you welcome us. Any information that we need, you're right there. Password, what's my password? Right, I know. But thank you so much, and truly enjoy your retirement and those grandkids. Thank you.
As I said at the retirement dinner, you're going to be hard to replace. I don't want to see you leave. You've been great, doing an outstanding job. And what is so important with your position is the exactness that you provided to be sure that the resolutions were properly worded, to be sure things were done properly and on time. And, I'm going to miss you, Pat. I'm going to miss you. I thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Mitchell. And I mean, we're all saying the same thing. Obviously, you will be sorely missed. In government today, to have someone who serves as an employee who is in contact with the public as you are all the time, we've been very fortunate because they've responded to say what a great staff we have. We know that's part of your nature. That's who you are. It's nothing that you are who you are. You're very exacting. You're very precise. And we've been very fortunate to have you. You're going to be a tough act to follow for anybody coming in, and we do love you. You've done a great job for us. Thank you for that.
So, Madam Chair, I have a question. If we vote no on this resolution, does that mean that Pat cannot retire?
That's a good point. Good point. Good question.
I'm going to have to vote yes. Pat, again, echo what everyone else said. We love you. We're going to miss you. Enjoy them grandbabies. You deserve it. And I'm sure some of us will still be calling you to ask you questions. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for everything. You've been such a big help. I really appreciate it. Everybody else really appreciates you. And have a great retirement. You deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. As Commissioner Coursey stated, I haven't been here long, but you have helped my transition, and I know I've been just a little bit of a pain in the neck behind the scenes, so I appreciate you. Thank you.
We're all a pain in the neck behind the scenes.
I said just a little bit. I confess.
Thank you, Commissioners. Do we have any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
A definite yes.
Bertino?
Yes, with regrets.
Coursey?
I'm still debating. Only if she keeps my password in case I forget it. Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Cook.
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations. And at the end of the meeting, we'll take a picture with the whole board. Okay, that concludes the written portion of our agenda. An embarrassing power Did you want to say something?
I do. Can I just out of line for a second? The real reason why I am retiring is that Jerry, one more time, he would never let me bring my dog to work.
I don't believe this guy.
So for about 10 years I've been asking, and he just never, ever would allow it. So,
Jerry,
so just
Hey, Jerry, you can change your mind. Let her bring the dog the next couple of days.
She didn't tell you she used to bring the dog anyway.
Funny thing is, he caught me once.
Only once.
And I never happened again.
Oh, the stories are coming out.
Clerk, you want to speak, clerk?
Oh, you don't want me to speak.
Okay, Tara can go first.
Well, bring the tears on.
I will speak. I wrote the resolution, and every word I put in there was absolutely true about Patty. And what you said, John, she is exact. There are some people, when you read, you glance over things. Patty reads each and every word, and that's truly a benefit. And she'll say, Sonia, did you see this? And I said, no. And so her ability to do that has enabled me to keep you all abreast of everything you need to be informed of. So I mentioned at her retirement party that for 20 years she was first an employee. We've become friends. We've watched our children grow together. We've seen our grandchildren come. We've had good times. We've had bad times with our family. But we were there to support one another. And I truly am going to miss her here, but our friendship still extends outside this building. And when Tara and I need her for something, we're just going to call and say, do you remember such and such? And she'll be able to help us, I know. But yeah, it's truly a loss to the county for an employee that has been just so dedicated, never had to say, Patty, can you stay a few minutes later so we can get this done or that done? And it's been my pleasure to have met and me call her a friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Rick, I know you're not feeling really well, but I don't want to be remiss in asking if you have any comments.
I'm just bummed that I can't be there. Congratulations. All I can say is you kept me in line. You helped me come in and get my stuff together. And to this moment, probably you're still doing it. I appreciate you, and you're just quite frankly a a really good employee, but an even better person. You deserve everything retirement brings you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So that concludes the written portion of our agenda. Do we have any reports of special committees? Seeing none, any unfinished business? Seeing none, any new business?
So, Madam Chair, I was contacted by Brigantine Middle School. I went over and sat through a presentation from their sixth grade gifted and talented class. They did a presentation in front of their city council, reference to the circle where the lighthouse is in Brigantine with the traffic crashes that happened there. And a presentation on how it could be redesigned better. And this last week, there were 3 groups, and they actually presented 3 different scenarios on how to make that traffic circle better. One including moving the lighthouse out of the middle of the street, and putting it on the grass area. They would like to come to a meeting, you know, and I'm hoping maybe they can come at our second meeting in January to present to all the commissioners. They did a phenomenal job. You know, 6th graders, your attention to detail. It's a PowerPoint presentation that they gave to the city council, and you know, they presented to myself there.
Very nice.
It's, like I said, very detailed. You know, I explained to them, you know, some of the cost factors, you know, and you know, some of the numbers. But I spoke with John Peterson, and there's something in the works to be done with that circle anyway, and you know, we can't let the cat out of the bag. But you know, maybe they can feel as though that you know, some of their ideas may be taken into the concept of the redesign. So, with your permission, I would just like to be able to invite them to our meeting and give a presentation to our entire board, and hopefully have the engineers, you know, be here. That way, they could ask them questions, or we could ask them questions.
Very nice. How many are there?
There is 12.
Maybe we could do some type of certificate for them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I would get all their names and give them a certificate of appreciation for, you know, their concern for the
Community
safety of
involvement,
exactly, including the teacher. But I would get all your names. I have her contact information.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other new business? Okay, seeing none, we've received copies of written communications and petitions. Any commissioner comments or anything you want to share? Okay. Oh, no, it's whispering way over here.
Actually,
we
I'll
are
tell you
going
what I
to
was
move you
saying.
too.
I can't move. I was actually mumbling over here, we should take that meeting to Brigantine.
I would love to.
Oh, yeah. Great idea.
I would love to take it. That way.
It's the second or third meeting or whatever you're gonna do, make sure we put plenty of notice out, so when we do the reorder, that means it's scheduled for Brigantine. We gotta get clear.
There are a couple other you know, county issues I'm sure they'd like to discuss.
It would be easier transportation wise for them, but I know it makes it tough on the clerks too. So whatever the preference is, it would be wonderful to have it there.
That's okay.
That's like why?
I don't know.
That's an easy lift.
I don't know how we probably wouldn't be live. I don't know what their setup is, but they go and look at the facility, make sure.
With WebEx now, I don't know if that's a possibility.
Make it happen. It's all about the kids.
But they're more than willing to come here, and they said transportation will not be a problem. Their parents will.
Okay, we are now open to the public portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name, the town you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, then also state your name and the town you reside.
David Calloway, Pleasantville. I have a quick question. I don't know if you guys will be able to help me. I see that they started the work on the Cody Creek Bridge. Is there a time frame when this project will be finished?
Yes. I think we're supposed to be done in the summertime.
Okay. So far, it's looking good.
Yeah, it's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Time coming, so.
Yes.
Anybody else from the public?
Good evening, Madam Chair and County Commissioners. There are some times that we have to deal with. My name is Craig Calloway.
And where you reside?
City of Atlantic City.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, as I was saying, it's unfortunate we have to deal with unfortunate things and unpleasant things. And this, what I'm about to speak about, some of you may have read about it or heard about it, and it's unfortunate that this tragic situation has taken place. And that is what happened in the city of Atlantic City with the child molestation in the school system of the city of Atlantic City. This was perpetrated by a monster child molester by the name of Keyon Frazier, who has been since pled guilty and was sentenced to a lengthy prison sentence in the under federal jurisdiction. What I wanted to bring to your attention, there are people in the city of Atlantic City and across the county who wants the county commissioners to look at what really took place. And that is, it is a 95 page FBI report which details exactly what took place. And it is very, very sad that the governor of the state of New Jersey has not demanded an investigation by his own attorney general as to what should happen with regards to state charges being him being charged, having this animal being charged with what he did to the children in the state of New Jersey, and not just only in the city of Atlantic City. I'm going to make sure that each county commissioner gets that 95 page FBI report. I will email it to you. And the people of Atlantic County would demand that once you read it, that there should be some kind of action by this body to call on the state of New Jersey under the governorship of Murphy, under his attorney general, under his commissioner of the Department of Child Protection and Permanency, and also permanence, and also the Department of Education, Commissioner of Education, for such outrageous animal attack on our children, and the state not to get to the bottom of it, or basically has swept it under the rug. It is unconscionable and it's unacceptable. As parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles, and I want everybody to understand, this is unfortunately just not an Atlantic City problem. Yes, there were some incidents that took place in the Atlantic City school system. There were incidents that took place in other places in Atlantic City, but I want you to understand that this is not limited to Atlantic City. Because of the negligence of the governor and the state of New Jersey, this monster child molester was hired after people knew that he was doing extremely inappropriate, as they would say, inappropriate behavior with children. This inappropriate behavior was not really described. The inappropriate behavior was he was molesting children. Okay? So, how is it that the Board of Education in the city of Atlantic City, which is under state monitorship, supposedly they said this monster, this animal was fired. Shortly after he was supposedly fired, he was then hired by the Department of the Department of Child Protection and Permanency. And this is where it spreads, and everybody in Atlantic County should be extremely concerned, because he then had access to not only the children in the city of Atlantic City, he had access to all the children, the most vulnerable of all the vulnerable children in Atlantic County are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Child Protection and Permanency. And he had his access with them. I found out through a parent that she had 2 children who had contact with this animal, unbeknownst to her that he was an animal. And he had this position, he was transporting children from family members. You know, when there is a problem, when DCMP separates the children from their families, and then, but still the families have rights to have visitor rights, He was transporting children all across South Jersey, and he had multiple hours alone with children. And when this parent found out, and the only way that they found out, they didn't find out from the state of New Jersey, they didn't find out from the Commissioner of Education as to what this animal was doing. There was an article in the paper stating what this animal was doing to children. And she realized, this is Keyon Frazier. This is the guy who was transporting my 2 babies from Atlantic City to Sicklerville. Who had, each time he did that, he had at a minimum of 2 hours alone with these children. And how dare Phil Murphy did not demand that his Attorney General investigate and bring these criminal charges against this monster so he will never see the other side of the fence. And the people, when you read this report, and the people of Atlantic County should demand that, and it should be unanimous, that there be a resolution calling on the governor for not only to investigate and have state criminal charges brought against Keyon Frazier, but also to investigate how the Attorney General didn't do his or her job, how the Commissioner of the Department of Child Protection and Permanence didn't do his or her job, and how the Commissioner of Education didn't do his or her job, because all of the heads should roll. And that is unacceptable, that this guy was able to go from one state agency, molest children, and then go to another state agency and have the opportunity to do even more. We don't know how many victims there are, but you will see in the FBI report, they had identified, I think it was either 6 or 7 children, and unconscionable things that we could even think. The worst sexual behavior that he was perpetrating on these babies. And Governor Murphy said nothing. His Attorney General said nothing. The federal government through the FBI, they did their job. But the state of New Jersey didn't finish the job. And I really believe the reason why they didn't, because they know they are horrible. They know that they were responsible to allow this monster child molester to go from one state agency to another. And who did the background check to allow this opportunity for our children to be molested or be in the presence of an animal like that? And that's what you're going to get. I'm going to send it to each of you, and I expect that this body would at least call on the titular head of the state of New Jersey, which is Governor Murphy, call him out and demand that something take place. And it's unacceptable that this guy got federal charges, but he didn't get state charges. Thank you.
Mr. Calloway, you can just send the one copy to Madam Clerk, and
Madam
then
Clerk?
she can make sure it gets to everybody.
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have your email address? After reading, I hope you guys will do a resolution at the next meeting.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays, everybody. Be safe.
Any comments for the good of the order?
Let me just say to all my colleagues, we wish you a happy and safe holiday season. It's been a real fun pleasure, but this is more time now as folks get to relax a little bit before the new year. I know there's a lot of reorganization meetings that's going to be taking place. Just a footnote in Atlantic City's reorganization will be on January 1 and 12 noon at Boardwalk Hall. We're going to be swearing in of the man, 3 council people, and then we're going to do reorganization at the same place. It's going to be in the Philip Randall Hall.
Adrian Phillips.
Yes.
Just throw out a name.
He's only from Atlantic City. He doesn't know anything about Boardwalk.
Yeah,
It's getting late.
Yeah, we wish everyone and one throughout the, the community, no, a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Maybe I did.
And I'm finished now.
Any other comments for the good of the order? Happy New Year.
Happy holidays to everybody.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.